So welcome back for this last part of the Vitol AMC session. We will have two presentations now. The first one by Régis Rossotto, Electric and Hybrid Propulsion System Certification Requirements, followed by Nick Kefalas on System Engineering Requirements as part of the aircraft system development process. So, Régis.
So, hello again. Now, in this session, I'm going to introduce you something which is a bit transverse, which is not related directly linked to Vitol, even if it's touched the Vitol community, of course. It deals with the electric and hybrid propulsion system and the certification requirements that we would like to propose. So it's not directly an accepted means of compliance to the special condition Vitol, but in itself, it's another special condition that we will apply for any kind of Vitol project. So the motivation behind this, in fact, since several years now, we see projects coming to us with different propulsive systems than what we were used to have before, meaning turbine engines or piston engines. We have a lot of distributed propulsion systems. Architectures are really different. They are integrated in different way in the aircraft. And so for the moment, the number of projects that we had in-house was quite low, and we were working on a case-by-case. So we were working and writing special conditions for every project, mainly for small aircraft, LSA or sailplanes. But now that we start to see a number of projects that is extremely increasing, we wanted to provide consistency between all the projects, and that's the intent of these special conditions. So the objective behind this, the first thing is really to promote innovation. We didn't want to kill innovation from the beginning. We want to provide the safety requirements for any kind of propulsive system. And you will see that it's basically technology agnostic. We are not talking in the special condition about any kind of specific engine. And we wanted as well to be harmonized with other authorities, because that's also a huge request from the community and from the industry. And you will see that we have already shared this with FAA, and we are in the process to share it with other authorities around the world. So the format of the special condition, as I mentioned, it's technology agnostic. It's, again, performance-based rules, mainly. And you will have later on some AMCs that will be developed to cope with the specific technology you will have for your propulsive systems. So what do we intend by EHPS? And by the way, I apologize for the acronym, but that's the only one I found. If in the comment during the public consultation you have better names to propose, you can. They are welcome. But that's basically any kind of electric and hybrid propulsion system. And that is, here you have the definition that will be included in the special condition. Basically, it includes everything in the propulsion system which is intended to produce lift or thrust. So the scope can be different from an aircraft to another. So it can include electric motors, inverters, turbine engines, piston engines, generators, electrical wiring interconnection systems. I mean, the list is long, but it's a kind of a la carte concept. So what are we talking about more? If we take some examples that you can find out of internet, we're talking about single electrical machines like the MRX engine. You can have distributed propulsions, so you have on the aircraft the CS-23 aircraft, and you can have also Vitol application, of course. What is important here to mention, in the scope of the special condition, the propellers are out of the scopes because they are considered as products in themselves. So there are dedicated sets of requirements in CSP that you can find for the propellers. The power plant requirements will not be addressed as well in the special condition. They are still part of the aircraft requirements. And last point, which is important, it will be valid for any kind of aircraft, from sailplanes up to the high end of aircraft, except CS-25. So for the moment, CS-25 has been excluded from the study, mainly for the environmental requirements that are not yet defined for hybrid propulsive system. So let's focus on VTOL maybe. So today in the special condition VTOL, we have one paragraph dealing with the engines and the propulsive system, which is the 2400B, which states that each aircraft engine or propeller or APU must be type certified, so easy, or meet accepted specifications. And the intent of the special condition that we are developing is to define these accepted specifications. So you will have the special conditions that is going to be, you will see the planning later on, but published soon for public consultation. And then later on, you will have a means of compliance that will be developed. And here, in the means of compliance, it will be kind of a la carte concept where you will choose which equipment or which parts are in your propulsive system. So the big question when we started to work on this is how we going to ensure proportionality, because of course if you design a propulsive system for CS-29 or for a VTOL aircraft, it won't be the same requirements as for an LSA aircraft. And so we injected proportionality through two means. The first one is directly in the special condition through the safety objectives. And here we are changing the way we are approaching engines up to now. So in CSC, for those who are not familiar, you have dedicated sets of safety requirements. And here we would like that the safety requirements for the propulsive systems are derived directly from the aircraft requirements. And then the next step is really to ensure proportionality through the accepted means of compliance that we're going to develop. And I took an example, a simple one, but the endurance test demonstration, of course, won't be the same if we are developing a propulsive system for a sailplane or an LSA aircraft or for a VTOL aircraft. So in terms of cycling, in terms of duration, indeed, the MC will be different. And here is a slide. It's just an extract of the table of the a la carte concept. So basically, what you can see, no need to read all the things, but the idea behind is to have the safety requirements that are located in the special conditions. And here you will find what we call technical aspects, or what are the equipments or the parts that are in your propulsive system, and how they are integrated in the aircraft. So you will see here some examples, so electrical engines, turbine engines, piston engines, etc. But you have also some other considerations taking into account the integration of the engines in the aircraft. For example, adjacent propulsive system. You had an example this morning with a bird strike, for example. If one bird can impact several engines at the same time, here you will find some requirements to deal with that. Some AMC, sorry. And so depending on how is made your propulsive system, you will choose the related AMC to answer and to demonstrate compliance with the certification requirements that will be expressed in the special condition, EHPS. So that's really an a la carte concept, meaning that, it's not, we will have to basically to create all these accepted means of compliance. So that's quite a huge work, but there is already a lot of things that has been done. And so we don't want to reinvent the wheel. Basically, the means of compliance, we're going to feed this table with what is already existing today. So CSC and the AMC to CSC, already existing special conditions. So there are already special conditions for electric propulsion for sailplanes, for example, that we could reuse. There is the ASTM standard F3338 that has been developed that will be also used for electrical engines. And there will be also other standardization bodies that are already willing to work on some of the AMCs, so SAE 40 and EuroK WG 113. What is important, maybe in the exercise to do in the coming months, is really when we're going to start developing the means of compliance, is really to provide the rationale of the means of compliance. That is really something important because we see now when we look at the requirements in CSC, sometimes they are, the background of the requirement are not so clear, and it's important to keep traceability of what we are doing today for the next generation, clearly. So the advantage of this concept basically is that we can extend later on in the future the list of technical aspects we would like to deal with. If there are new projects, new architectures, or new kind of propulsive systems that are coming into the market, that's something that we could easily do. So in terms of planning, what we're talking about, so basically the special condition is intended to be published soon, meaning end of the year or beginning of next year. Then there will be a public consultation period, of course, like for the special condition VTOL. And then we intend to publish the final version by May 2020. So meanwhile, basically we would like really to work with other foreign authorities. We are working already today a lot with FAA on this. They already commented the special condition. We already integrated their comments. So that's something we would like to continue. And then in May 2020, also, we'll start working on the accepted means of compliance. And that's it.